the Fortress of Solitude podcast. I'm your host, Sergio Pereira, and today I'm joined by the creator of Love, Death, and Robots. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not. I'm joined just by, just Jared Saunders, the editor of Fortress of Solitude. I've decided that I wanted to introduce you as do something different for you, give you one of these big introductions.
I nearly made the noises of a mouse or something like that. I don't know. It was so random.
No. That's remember Lois, when some of the podcasts as well, when you introduce him as something, he makes his weird noises. There was one that we recorded, and he made the weirdest noise ever. And I just remember it was so difficult to actually carry on recording because I couldn't stop laughing. It was just too funny. It was just the most awkward noise I've ever heard in my life. So yeah, it was well, I'm glad that you didn't make a weird mouse noise or a beep bop a robot or something.
Yeah, exactly. The mouse noise at least was associated with the new season, so it wasn't for nothing.
Jared, how are you doing? How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. And you?
I'm doing good. I'm actually pretty excited to chat about this. I mean, I know that both of us are pretty big fans of Love, Death, and Robots. I mean, we've been watching it since the first season. I mean, I remember when it arrived, it was a couple of years back already. Yeah. And both of us said, hey, we said to each other, we need to watch this. It's really cool. And there's a lot of different cool stories there. And I mean, I found it quite interesting how the first season consisted. I think it was 18 episodes or something. It was quite a few episodes.
Yeah,
the second season was shorter. And now the third season as well was it also, it feels short. So I'm actually kind of wondering why is it going that way? Or are they just cutting down the budget and trying to split
the way I'd put it is I've managed to watch all the episodes twice in one day.
Yeah, okay. All right.
That's how short it is in comparison to the first season.
Yeah, it's just look, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not a bad thing as well. I think, we obviously are talking about a lot of content at the moment. We have so much Netflix content coming out that it's hard to keep up with it. So the fact that
also, I think they've improved their quality so much that it's difficult to make, 18 episodes of really good stuff of this quality anyway. Yeah,
you think so?
I mean, some of them, I imagine it must have taken them a few years to make, 1 or 2 years.
Okay, look, from a visual perspective, I can agree that it looks spectacular, a lot of the stuff. Yeah. But I must say, this third season is probably my least favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
I would say it's better than the last season, actually, for me.
For me, the stories that I liked were really, really good and probably are some of my favorites. The ones I really liked. But I found a lot of it was filler and a lot of it was just,
Okay. Let's go through which ones you thought were filler and which ones you really liked, I suppose. And we can start there.
I thought actually a lot of it was pretty much a lot of it was filler. I'll explain to you my reasons. Okay. Definitely one of the things I realized about this season is that it's a lot more adult and a lot more violent than before. Okay.
Yes.
And for me, I think it's they obviously leaned into what worked. And I think we discussed this beforehand. We were discussing while we were watching this. It was a case of that what's working, what worked, what didn't work last season, what do people want to see? And I think they leaned into that a lot more. Okay, it's a lot gorier, a lot more violent. It's a lot more blood, a lot more heads exploding, stuff like that.
There's also a lot more robots versus.
Yeah, no, it does. And I mean, it's cool.
I don't have heavy on robots now.
I don't have a problem with that, but some of it just felt like gore for the sake of gore. For example, that episode Kill Team Kill, which was the special forces. And it was cybernetic killing machines and stuff like that.
The one with the bear.
Yes. I think it's the one with the bear, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yes.
I did not really enjoy that. I found that was a little bit of overkill. Whilst they also had another one, which I kind of.
I thought it was personally. I thought it was fun. I understand what your issue is with that episode, though. It feels very generic. The story is very generic, but it's it feels like a comic book to me, like a comic book come to life. It's incredibly violent, incredibly. It's like a prose CGI film or short film.
Yeah. But at the same time, there's another similar little short which is called In Vaulted Halls Entombed, which is the one where they basically encounter almost these elder gods. So it kind of feels like Doom meets Event Horizon. I kind of got that sort of vibe from it.
Look, some of them better. Some of them some of them do feel like they're like shorts at the beginning of a game, or they were, cinematics that were part of a game that was cancelled or something like that. They just, like there's one especially that feels like, I think that's the one you're referencing.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed that because that, as I said, that reminded me a lot of Doom meets Event Horizon. It was like the way it was, the whole thing, and I thought it was well done versus the other one, Kill Team Kill, which I just found was just an excuse just to like have explosion sort of thing. It was like a little bit mindless. Like, look, like I said, I didn't hate it per se, but I just thought it was, in comparison where you had something else is a little bit similar, I found it was a bit of overkill there. That's kind of the thing.
The other one that I felt was very generic was the one where it looks like they're on Mars or something like that, and they're like astronauts, and they have these future machines, and one like something goes wrong in space, and I don't want to give away too much.
The very pulse of the machine. Well, I think it was on the moon. And it's called A Very Pulse of the Machine, and it's the one that had like a very specific animation style, right? Like it looked a lot different. It stood out. Animation style. Yes, that one. Yes. I also found it was beautiful, but it was.
Yeah,
I also kind of found
it for me. Yeah,
and that's the funny thing. It's like I just found like a lot of it sometimes, like especially in that instance, you're almost trying to be almost too imaginative with a story that it kind of like. You kind of like after a while you kind of say, what's the purpose of this? That's kind of how I felt like with some of the stories, like you kind of watch, it's like, okay, well, what's going on? And that's the thing which I found was that it just was either excessively gory for the sake of being gory, which I found was a little bit like, okay, cool, great. But, as you say, it's a video game cutscene, effectively. So this was the point of this. Whilst other stories, as I said, just felt like a lot of fillers. For me, like the ones that I really enjoyed, I mean, I must say it was the 3 robots, the Exit Strategies, where they are like these little 3 robots of post-apocalypse.
Yeah, I love that. That's a sequel to the one they did last season. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was perfect. It was hilarious.
Why isn't that a show? Like it's so good, like by itself.
It is.
Like, if they just made like a bunch of episodes on that could be a really good Netflix show because it's funny.
I agree.
It's super funny. The characters.
It is,
cool.
And it's kind of funny because it kind of always proposes like, what would happen in the post-apocalypse? And, we always talk about, you look at Terminator, the robots are taking over and whatever. And actually this post-apocalypse kind of shows that, humans basically killed themselves, they like destroyed themselves. And the robots are just left behind because like...
And they're like laughing about it. They're just like, humans are stupid. This doesn't... Everything they did doesn't make sense.
It's brilliant. And I love it. Like I thought it was so clever. It was so well done. The other one that I really, really dug was The Night of the Many Dead, which was a little clay animation about with it.
Oh my goodness!
With a zombie apocalypse. It was amazing.
That was the first one I watched actually, and I was like,
same.
Damn, this should have been at the beginning of a movie. It's like so funny. It's like a clever way to introduce zombies, and it's like, I really dug that one. It's probably my favorite out of the lot, I think.
It was so clever. The little clay animation and the way
it's something you can watch like over and over.
And it's hilarious as well. Like you just watch it and like, how humans react to zombie apocalypse, like with all the stupid stuff. It was super, super funny. And I mean, it coming from someone who's actually zombied out at the moment. Like, I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I think I discussed this with you before. Like, I was the biggest fan of The Walking Dead, but after watching him like just walk for 9 seasons, I was like, I'm tapping out.
I'm exactly the same way. I'm like so over zombies as well. Well,
and I'm
Snyder did okay. Snyder did an okay thing with the zombies. This would have been a nice intro for Army of the Dead. Actually, it would have
been pretty cool. Yeah, I could actually see something like it's very imaginative. It's very cool.
Yeah.
So for me, like I really dug this. I thought it was really well done. The other one I really enjoyed, was Mason's Rats. Like when
I was going to say that.
With the robots. I mean, it was actually like, it was so emotional with like those little rats and like, you kind of like felt sorry for them at a stage, but then like, how Mason and the farmer came together with them. It was like, it was really well done.
It was clever. It was clever.
It was. And it was like, it was kind of like,
and again, funny. It was. There's some tongue in cheek in there.
It was, and it was quite funny to see like these little rats build up an army, and then like when they're trying to escape from like the what's it called, like the other robots and stuff. Oh, it was brilliant. I really loved it.
Yeah,
and I thought it was very well done.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites too.
Swarm was one about these 2 human scientists They were like in a that was a little bit weird sometimes at a certain place.
That one I didn't like. That one was weird.
Yeah, it was. It was a bit strange.
The other one I liked was the one that Fincher did. Was the something about the ship with the
Bad Traveling. Yeah.
Yes.
It's Bad Traveling.
Yes. Yeah. That one was. Oh my goodness! I really liked that. I thought this was like. Yeah. I thought this was like his way of doing, sort of like Alien 3, sort of. Making up for Alien 3, because there's a lot of weirdness to it, but it's also like it got really cool action sequences, like the slow motion and all of that. It's nicely done for animated short. Like, I think for me personally, probably my favorite one next to the zombies.
Yeah, look, Bad Traveling was really cool. I did dig that one as well. What it did make me think is that I want to see David Fincher take on like a sea monster like movie.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'd love to see from that.
Yeah.
It got me excited for that. It was the longest actually of the animated shorts.
Yeah,
funny
it
enough.
was.
It was 21 minutes.
It was. Yeah,
so for that one, like I dug it, but it wasn't my favorite. I thought it was pretty cool, but like I said, it wasn't exactly one of my favorites. It's kind of a lot of it was predictable. I found, like, for me, like watching it from the beginning, I could kind of see where it was going, but it was still pretty cool to watch it. I did do that.
It's visually interesting. Like, obviously, I think you could sort of predict what's going to happen in the story. Like, it's not the most original story, but like the way it's pulled off, I thought it was fantastic. Like, it's probably the best directed one of the lot.
Yeah, it was. And then there was a final one that was also out. It was Jabaro. It was the one with the Deaf Knight and the siren. That was like almost like a bit of a dance.
Yeah. I found that was annoying.
It was interesting.
The visuals are nice again.
It was interesting. Visually it was interesting. It was an interesting concept. I did, but I also found like it didn't quite commit to what it was trying to do. Like I found that it struggled a little bit. Like it kind of felt like at points, I'm going to say, it kind of felt a little bit like an art student putting it together. When you kind of see these, like it's a little bit self-indulgent. It doesn't like, after all, like, okay, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to do in that sense? And there's no disrespect to art students either. I mean, It's just like one of those arts projects that you kind of know where people sometimes get a little bit too self-indulgent and they don't realize where they need to self-edit and cut. And I found that was a bit of it. But yeah, I thought it was still pretty cool. I did like it. But yeah, look, for me, like I said, I had my favorites, and I mean, it was Invaulted Halls Entombed, Mason's Rats, obviously The Night of the Many Dead, and I'd say 3 Robots, Exit Strategies, and then probably Bad Traveling. So I would say about half of it I really, really did enjoy.
How many episodes are there in total?
I'll tell you now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 9. There's 9 episodes. So yeah, look, I mean, if I did like 5 of the 9, it's like pretty much half of them.
Yeah.
So just over half. So look, like I said, for me, the season, the episodes that I liked were really good, and like they are among my favorites. Like Love, Death, and Robots, like overall. But some of the other ones, they were a bit of a slog, to be honest, and that's never nice.
Season 1 is still the best, though. Season 1 had like some of the best episodes.
Look, I mean, it had 18, so it's just like you would find obviously a lot more out of the 18 versus 9. But look, I mean, for me,
they probably took a lot longer to make the first season as well. Like when did the last one of these come out? Last year, so they come out annually.
I think it was last year. I think we spoke about this last year, if I'm not mistaken. So I think it was last year or the year before. It was fairly recent. It wasn't too long ago. I know that.
So they come out annually then.
Yeah. So it's pretty much an annual thing. But it'll be interesting to see. Like, I mean,
but if this was part of season 2, do you think that would have worked better if they waited 2 years and released these episodes with the episodes from season 2?
Possibly, but I think the interest would have like disappeared in Love, Death, and Robots. I mean, let's be honest here.
You forget about stuff quickly.
Yeah, it's a cool show. I mean, like, I think what they're doing, I mean, from a creative perspective, I think it should be encouraged. I think we should support it. I mean, just because I said season 3 is the weakest doesn't mean that I think, just cancel it now. Like, no, not at all.
No,
I think this is fantastic. It's providing a platform for short films, especially short animated films, which is very important. There's not really a lot of places doing that. I mean, the only other one you can kind of think of is Robot Chicken, and that's been going for like forever. And this is like something that's different. It's clever. it's allowing the opportunity as well for animators to take like popular short stories and to develop it.
I wonder if they if they allow submissions for this sort of thing, or if it's the same company doing all of them. Because
I'm not sure.
If they
I know that
drew from a bigger pool of writers and a bigger pool of animators, they could pull off more interesting ones. Because these all looks fairly similar, like they're done by the same companies as the previous one.
Yeah, look, I think what they do is they kind of look at popular short stories that have been featured in anthologies, like things that get like Bram Stoker awards and all of those. Because I mean, some of the writers that I do follow, like on Twitter, they've retweeted like people who have been featured in Love, Death and Robots, that their stuff has been adapted. So it's really cool, and I think it's a nice way to kind of also promote a lot of authors and stuff that might not necessarily get out there. Because let's be realistic here, it's very difficult to adapt a short story into a feature length film in most cases, especially if the story is like maybe 10 pages. How are you going to take those 10 pages and turn it into 100?
Yeah.
So yeah, but for me, like I'm really impressed. I just do wonder though, like how much legs does this thing actually have to go? Like, will we get a 4th season? Because we've seen Netflix, they're being quite ruthless in terms of cutting things.
I mean, this doesn't look like a cheap show either. It looks like
it doesn't. Expensive. And I kind of wonder, like, how long will they keep going with this? Like, because obviously we've seen subscription costs have gone up. They've been cutting a lot of things, and I just wonder, is this?
I have seen a lot of excitement about this season, though. So hopefully people go out and watch it, and that helps.
I hope so.
For season 4. Like a lot of people watch the 2nd season though, even though they complained about it. Like I saw a lot of complaints about season 2. Like a lot of people weren't happy with the quality.
Yeah, look, I mean, like I said, I didn't mind season 2. I thought it was pretty good. For me personally, this was the weakest one, but I really hope it doesn't get cancelled. That's pretty much my biggest hope. I'm like, what, just please carry on. Like, it is imaginative. It's something different. Netflix. I'm tired of these like Netflix just investing in reality shows. Like they need to stop that shit. Like, we don't need that. It's like it's enough of it. Like there's enough of it on TV. That's what E-Entertainment exists as a channel. All this stuff and like MTV. And I understand, but I'd love to see more imaginative shows being released versus a case of let's just release more of the same stuff that's out there that you can get on any other like network or streaming platform, whatever. So for me, that is my hope that they don't just decide to cut this and say, well, you know what, it's not getting the same amount of views as The Witcher or Stranger Things, so therefore we're not going to invest in it, because this is something which I think is important.
This is not this type of thing that could really live anywhere else. Like,
that's the thing.
If it was on YouTube or one of that, nobody's going to really be that interested, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't it? What's his name? Neil Blomkamp, who also did like a couple short films and short stuff. He also did. And I know that Netflix bought that now as well. Like I saw it the other day that I saw it on that show.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually scrolled. I was like, wait, hang on, it's here. We did all this stuff because I remember he released it on YouTube initially, if I'm not mistaken. And the stuff is on Netflix now. So I think they've bought it. So there is a space for like these short films and stuff. And I think it's important because, right now, the thing is, where are people going to take their stuff? Like, especially if you're a young filmmaker or young animator and you want to create stuff, realistically, it's expensive to create a feature length film, even if you want to do it independent. Yeah. And how are you going to get your work out there? How are people going to see what you're capable of doing if you don't actually produce the stuff? Now, if you create short films and stuff like this that can go on Love, Death and Robots, or it can go onto Netflix, it allows the opportunity for young creators and people who are might not necessarily be known to show their work, and somebody can say, "Hey, this is really awesome. This person would be really cool to work with," or it can also work for their portfolio. Say, "Hey, look, one of my features was on Love, Death and Robots on Netflix, and they can use that as part of to get into other projects." So I think it's beneficial for everyone in terms of development of like film and the bridge between well-known creators and people starting out. I think this is the perfect like bridge for them, actually. Yeah, well, I mean, Jared, it's been cool chatting to you about Love, Death and Robots season 3. I think we've raised some really good points, and once again, I hope it doesn't get cut. And to everyone else out there, have you checked out any of the episodes of Love, Death and Robots of the new season yet? Well, if you have, let us know. Tell me and tell us what you think about it. Did you enjoy it? Is it better than last season? Is it worse? What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comment section. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And take it easy. Be cool. enjoy the content out there, and just, you know what, relax. Times are tough nowadays. Just have a good time. We'll chat to you soon. Take care. Bye.